Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is the Palos Verde Democrats, and the topic of our meeting today is the impact of the January 6th events and the global turn to authoritarianism, the perils, promise, and prospects for democracy. We're going to have a few announcements and a preview of upcoming meetings, and then our featured speaker today will be Dr. Vinay Lal, UCLA Professor of History and Asian American Studies. He was born in Delhi, raised in India, Indonesia, Japan, and the United States. And Dr. Lal joined the history faculty at UCLA in the fall of 1993. The results of our bylaw change vote were that we voted to change the bylaws as they were indicated. We had one vote against the bylaw changes, a member who felt that the mandated grievance procedure is unnecessary. Unfortunately, it's mandated by the California Democratic Party, so we need it in order to keep our charter. The bylaw changes passed, and the revised version is posted on our website under Club Info, Club Bylaws and Resolutions. The PV Dems endorsed Assembly Bill 650, standing with healthcare workers. Assemblyman Elmer Suchi introduced the Assembly Bill 650 in February to recognize and retain healthcare workers. The bill would require an employer to pay hazard pay retention bonuses starting in January to each healthcare worker that it employs. The PV Dems board voted to endorse it, the United Healthcare Workers West petition. And you can see what it's called. What we signed up for was to call the California State Legislature and Governor Newsom to pass the bill and recognize the outstanding efforts and sacrifices our healthcare workers have made to improve the retention of our healthcare workforce. The bill is currently in committee. Is Carol on?
Yes, I am. The nominees for board of directors are up on the screen. And I think we sent these out to you, so you've been aware of this for a while. We need all of you to vote. All members who were members as of February are eligible to vote for these nominees. If there are any objections to these nominees, would you please, you can chat, in chat, you can send a chat to Anne or Reggie. I can't see that, so otherwise I'd have you send it to me. And we will count them in chat, and maybe a little later on in the meeting, if there are a number of no votes, we'll go ahead and discuss that. Otherwise, we will let you know the results of this election.
Okay, so this is about the victory vote of the South Coast Air Quality Management approved warehouse rule, the warehouse rule vote. And I just wanted to say in the April Palos Verdes Democrats meeting, we featured speakers on the environmental justice, where our co-moderator, Judy Mitchell, who is a former member of the South Coast Air Quality Management District, talked about her passion to pass this warehouse rule. This rule states that transportation warehouses like Amazon would have to choose from a menu of items to reduce their NOx emissions, nitro oxide emissions, and they could use zero emission vehicles in their warehouses. They could do other things, and they have to provide charging for electric trucks using those warehouses. So this was a very important bill or rule to pass, because they don't control any of this. And so for them to enforce something that they don't control was a big factor here. But on Friday, May 7th, the SCAQMD passed this warehouse rule by a 9-4 vote. And we just wanted to follow up here in this meeting since this is what was talked about at our last meeting. Is Judy on? Judy Mitchell? Okay. I don't know if she had any other thing further to say. Okay, so we'll go to their next slide. So on this next slide, we have Ellen Gorbanoff, who's going to speak about this, and she was one of the organizers.
Well, hi. So it was fun to be able to have some of our PV Dems members join us. This was a Votercade organized nationally by Transformative Justice and a couple of other voting rights groups, and Indivisible South Bay LA, Indivisible Beach Cities, and Sister District, and I think Gen Blue were sponsors. This was a nonpartisan event. And even though we did get support from several of the Democratic clubs around, we could not have them help sponsor. We had about 50 cars in 2 routes. We met at El Prado Park, and then one Votercade went into Carson, and another went into up Crenshaw to Artesia to Hawthorne. And this was all about the John Lewis Voter Rights Advancement Votercade. There were over 10,000 people involved across the country in 150 events in 35 of the states. Some areas got a lot of media coverage. We did not in our South Bay group, but I think maybe the Santa Monica group did. Chuck Schumer was involved in one of the Votercades, and the day started with a national broadcast, which was put on by Facebook. So I couldn't watch it because I'm not on Facebook. And they had all these different speakers, including Padilla and Maxine Waters and a bunch of other just amazing leaders. And a number of the leaders across the country signed proclamations supporting S1, HR1 for the People Act, HR4, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, HR 51 for Washington, D.C. statehood, and the filibuster. That was the focus of the event. The next steps that Transformative Justice and these other groups are talking about is a freedom ride. It's the 60th anniversary of the freedom rides through the South. And there'll be more information. There will be a freedom ride through 6 states, starting in the South and going up to DC, ending June 26, where there will be a protester demonstration in DC. And some of the groups around here may talk about, is there something we want to be involved in on that June 26th day? So I'm happy to take questions if you have any.
I just wanted to also say who's on this chart, and I see Connie has a hand up. Did you want to say something? You have to unmute.
No, I was asking to be unmuted to talk about the election. So I'm waiting for you to finish this, and I want to go back to the election.
Okay. All right. So I just wanted to also talk about who went out for this motorcade on May 8th. And in the pictures, that's my Prius, and I'm on the left, and there's Kara Muller and Nancy Silver. And then in the picture on the right, you have, there's Ellen, and then also we have our mask on there. So same folks, yeah. But we were all lined up. There were 2 caravans. And when we got to the other church, that was the banner to the right. And the map to the left, that was just one of the routes we took. There was a second route, and I will say that the second route, or the people in that second route, got lost, but we made it first. So all right, so moving on, let's go back to the vote. Connie, you wanted to talk?
Yes, I just wanted to thank our nominating committee, Ellen Gorbanoff, and our chair, Carol Schwartz. And I participated also, and just wanted to recognize the nominating committee.
Thank you very much. Okay, let me just see. Okay, let's go to the meeting previews. So in our June meeting, just want to remind everybody we're the second Sunday of the month versus the third Sunday. Our theme will be Stop Dumping Patients, Advocating for Nursing Home Reforms. So we're fortunate to have Matthew Borden, who is a partner in a law firm that has 2 cases with the California Advocates for Nursing Home Reform against the state. And basically their cases are, there's regulations on the books that aren't being enforced and the nursing homes are dumping patients. And then there's also a bill from Al Muratsuchi that speaks about protecting nursing home residents. So he will come in and speak on his bills as well. So that's for the June 13th meeting. And then we're still going ahead with our in-person July 18th picnic. We are fortunate to now have Congressman Ted Lieu come to speak and to install our new board of directors for the Palos Verdes Democrats. We're in the process of inviting a number of other local elected officials. So some of them will be getting invites soon. Some of them already have them. But we do need to have volunteers to help on our picnic committee. And so I have Connie Sullivan's contact. Connie, do you want to say anything more on the picnic?
Well, I just want to say that the picnic is still subject to the church allowing us to use their facility. And we have to check back with them and see if by that date that they will be open for business. So I just wanted everybody to understand there's that caveat.
Okay. Okay. And then I also, if you go to the next chart. So we are still doing our annual August meeting on the Supreme Court review. So UC Irvine is still having their Supreme Court term in review. It'll be their 11th annual one. They're doing theirs in July. And what we usually do is we have the Honorable Judge Tom Long, who comes and reviews some of the cases that they're doing, gives us his own commentary, and also they don't review all the cases. So sometimes he has other cases that he focuses on as well during our meetings. And so this is a very popular meeting that we have, and it is on for August. The thing that we're still discussing, whether it will be in person at the library, whether the library is doing meetings at the library. And even if it is, we're talking about that we would still be streaming it to members that cannot come to an in-person meeting. So mark your calendar. All right. Okay, so we do have to move on. We have a few more minutes. I hope for you, some of you can stay on, but we do want to share some of the actions that some of our members are doing and some things that you can look forward to. So if Reggie can share the last slide again. And thank you everybody for your comments in the chat. Denzi, you're great at summing up things as it's going along, and some of your comments, there was a comment in terms of what he had said about Obama from Connie, where she said that Obama did respond to the Ebola crisis. So obviously Dr. Law couldn't get into everything, but I think we all learned quite a bit today. Okay, so these are some of the member actions, and some of these I have some people to speak on. The first one came, if some of you are on the Grassroots Democrats emails, they partner with the Women's March Action to write Stop the Recall postcards. And there was some discussion earlier in the social hour before our 2:30 meeting began, you know, why isn't there an opponent, a Democratic opponent to Governor Newsom in this recall? And the thing is, we don't want a Democrat, or the commentary is not to have someone, another Democrat run, but to vote no for the recall. And so we have on our website a link. Did someone say something? Anyway, we have a link on our homepage to get these postcards. There you can pre-request the postcards, the addresses and the script, and you can start writing them. And it's to say no on this wasteful recall. So that's a member action. And then Carol Muller, who sits on the board of the 10,000 Villages, wanted us to know about a documentary that they will be presenting on June 10th. This hasn't been posted on our calendar yet, but we will post it, or you can go to the 10,000 Villages South Bay website to register. It's a free documentary, but to register about who pays for the real price of our clothing. Did you want to say anything on this, Carol? Okay. And then let me see. And then the last one we have Crystal, and I'm not sure if I'm saying your last name correctly. Lou?
Oh, it's Lou. Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, great. Okay, so we have Crystal on, and she brought this. Well, actually, some other people had seen it, but she really championed this. So I wanted her to talk about this vendor, this extremist vendor that was at the 7-Eleven at Hawthorne and PV Drive West. So do you want to talk about that?
Well, yes, I was very upset. 2 weekends in a row, this vendor was showing up in front of 7-Eleven promoting her, extremist gun rights activism and paraphernalia. And I went to speak to her and I asked her if she had a permit to sell this type of paraphernalia in our community. And she became very hostile. She was just very unpleasant, started to scream at me. She had no mask on and she started screaming at me about how she had a right to be there and blah, blah, blah. So I contacted, first I went to 7-Eleven to try to speak to the manager. They kept saying there's nothing they could do about her, even though she was sitting right there in front of their property selling this stuff. I made several calls to City Hall and the calls did not do any good. What did help was emailing the city manager and the mayor, the RPV mayor, and they got right on it. And they, within that same day, they had her removed. Apparently she did not have a peddler's permit. She did have a seller's permit, but the mayor did indicate they are trying to enforce the ordinances, but because a recent law, I forget which number it is. It was passed in 2018 that decriminalizes street vending. The cities are having issues enforcing their ordinances. So he said for now they could, remove her, but in the future he could not guarantee anything, although she has not been back. I mean, she did try to come back the very next day after they had removed her that Saturday. She came back the very next day. And then I called again. I didn't call, I emailed Ara, the city manager, and he again was right on it. He got the code enforcement officer out there and she was gone. So she has not returned. And apparently, I guess she's moved over to.
Yeah, she was in Torrance. I saw her on PCH right before the intersection with 190th.
Yeah.
So she's moving around.
Yeah, I just don't think we need that kind of extremism in our community, especially with the political climate being what it is. And I think what I did was I emphasized public welfare and safety. And based on that, I think the cities can do more if they need to.
Right. So that's why I wanted to raise it. So it's very important when we do see it, and if it's in your city, to do just what Crystal did and contact your city manager, your mayor, because email them exactly. And this person does not have a vendor's permit where she's at, so she gets moved around. But we should stand up.
That's probably why.
We thank you for that. Yeah.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. I don't want to see that in our city.
Right.
Or anywhere really.
Anywhere. Yeah. So I'm going to do a go back because Carol Muller she was muted. So she wanted to say something about 10,000 Villages.
Oh, I just wanted to say I think we need to think about what we pay for when we purchase a $10 t-shirt, a $5 t-shirt. It's on the backs of the people that actually make it. It's not necessarily on the backs of the stores. And so 10,000 Villages is a nonprofit fair trade store, and part of their mission is educating all of us. And so hopefully some of you will go to our PV Dems website, where it will be posted. The link will be posted for this free documentary. And also, Anne, I think we might need to say something about the election.
Oh, okay, that's right. Were there any, I didn't see anything in chat just to any no votes.
No,
But,
I just wanted to say, I know this is an unusual way to perform an election, but it's the easiest way when you're doing it by
Zoom.
So I didn't see any objections to the slate. So I think we can consider them accepted by our membership, and they will be installed in July.
Thank you for that reminder. And yes, so there was no, I didn't see any objections that came in. And so the slate will pass.
We should thank them for their service.
And actually, I also want to thank Connie for reminding me about the election committee, because it is not it can be something of a thankless job, and this committee was excellent. They found some wonderful candidates, and we really appreciate them.
Well, I just want to say to those of you who are repeating in your roles, thank you for being willing to continue. Because you're doing a great job.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Crystal, for coming on. And is there any, I did want to raise one other thing. Is Judy Pang on, or? Anyway, she raised something with me before.
I am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, Judy had some other actions, and so we were talking about putting some things up on our website that makes it easier for people to see these actions if they're not getting the emails. And Judy has volunteered to help Reggie and myself to evaluate how to add some of these actions to our website. So they are like this recall one of the postcards is on there, but how we can make it a little bit more prominent that people can see them. So if anyone else has ideas, please, you can email us through the website, but we will be getting with Judy on that.
I started a list and took some things off the indivisible, their action items and volunteering opportunities. And then some of us were on that. Some of the other people I see here were at that meeting, and there's some updates to that. So I want to update it and kind of organize it better, and then I'll get it to you.
Great. There's like a gazillion things to choose from.
Well,
yeah, narrowing it down is going to be the problem.
and this is something we have to speak at our board meeting about. So again, it's something that we're evaluating. I see Connie's hand up.
Yeah, I also wanted to talk about the text banking for the recall effort. I've been doing that for, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks, something like that. That's pretty easy too. So we can put something about that on the website. I think we did once. We probably need to refresh that.
Okay.
I wanted to say I was on a call where Sierra Club person or another organization at a Sierra Club thing had said how effective writing letters is, that it actually has some scientific basis that it can increase, particularly for unlikely voters, which November will be less likely voters, and it can raise it 2 or 3 or 4%. So, and I think this will be an important election that we beat back these kind of recalls. Yeah. So I think writing letters is something that a lot of people could do.
Right. So that's what the postcarding is about.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is, but I want to say something for text banking too. It's more like campaigning. You're identifying your supporters, so later you can get them out to vote. So it's a good adjunct to the postcarding and so forth. We need both.
Yeah.
Both. Okay, we've kind of gone over. I am so sorry, but Dr. Law had a lot to say, and I was silly to think that we could do it I think he told me 40 minutes initially. So by mistake there. Anyway, any last minute items that
I'd just like to say thank you to Crystal for what she did in contacting the city. I live right nearby that vendor, and I so appreciate, I didn't know what to do, but I so
Oh,
appreciate what
you're
she
so
did.
welcome. I live close by too, and I'm going to keep an eye on it. So,
Okay, well, feel free to contact me if you need some help in contacting any officials or
yeah,
whatever.
I think the more people that contact by email, the city manager or our city council or the mayor, that would be great if she ever comes back again, or with
Yeah.
any other issue,
Right, right.
Okay.
Good work.
Oh, you're welcome.
okay, anything else?
Oh, Anne, let's see, I
Yes.
can't raise my hand. It's Allison.
Yeah.
I did want to mention about the League of Women Voters having a Wednesday Zoom meeting on May 26th from 7 to 8. It's just a short meeting. It's a panel of mayors and a city council member from the 4 peninsula cities. And they're going to discuss the state actions on housing and the resulting changes and the challenges for our cities and what the state actions, how it's going to affect us. So the Zoom link is on our website, which is, I put it in the chat.
Yeah,
So,
I saw that. Yeah.
okay, great.
And we can add something. Yeah. I
Oh.
had been talking with Nancy, so did not get any details from her on that.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
And just for those of you who might not have known, Jeff Frankel, who was the person that we supported for the school, for the Peninsula's school board, he passed away a few months ago. And so they're doing a forum tomorrow with 16 candidates that are going to be interviewing for his position. Anyway, and Legal Women Voters is going to be doing that forum tomorrow at the school board. It'd be I've volunteered for it. It's my first in-person event to go to. So that would be kind of interesting at the school board. Okay, but we'll let you know. Obviously, they're going to pick the candidates, not an election, but there are 16 people who are vying to replace him.
You said 16?
16, 1-6.
And do we know if any Democrats are?
I don't, I just saw the list, so I can send you the list. I don't know. It's they each have 5 minutes to respond to a question. Okay. Thank you guys very much.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.